Alright guys, my breakfast nook table that is black is about to get painted like my other table in the formal dining room. I'm going to start out with this linen white chalked paint from Rust-Oleum. I had some people ask for me to document the process since people have asked how I did my other dining table, and honestly that was a process of many steps just because it changed a few times. So I'm going to do my best to make this easy and doable for you guys. So the first step is just to clean the table really good. I just filled a sponge. If you have a Scotch-Brite, it works better so you can kind of degloss too. But I filled it with Dawn soap and then I'm just scrubbing it pretty hard. So just scrub an area and then you'll wipe it down to dry it. And then you can kind of see in this area, I've done this spot, see how it's a little more dull than that one. So now that I've dried it off, I'm just going over it with a damp cloth, and then I'll let that dry and then start my chalk paint. Okay, when I chalk paint, I'm not fancy, you guys. I do it right out of the can. It's just so thick that I don't need to put it into a pan. So then I'll try to get into the table grooves like this, because then I can lightly go over these strokes and blend them in. All right, the top has a coat on it, and I'm probably just gonna leave the top with one coat. I'll do 2 coats on the legs and the bottom part, but on the top I'm going to apply a gel stain on top of this, so I don't want it super wet. I kind of want some contrast. When I'm doing the legs, I don't get a whole ton of paint on the paintbrush. You just want a light coat, base coat, and then you can go over it thicker the next time and just brush it back and forth. Here's the first coat on this leg, and you can see that it's not perfect. So we just want to get a good base on there, so then you can go thicker with the second coat and give it more coverage. Okay, I've got the first coat on everything, and sorry, it's kind of dark in this spot. You can see that it's not perfect and it's a light coat, so I'll let that dry and then I'll go back over it with a second thicker coat. Now for the stain. So this is a wiping stain, which is also a gel stain. I got this one at Lowe's. They have them at Home Depot too, but I like this color. So I've done a little bit here. I used the top of the can just because I want only a little bit on here, and then I like this thick bristle brush for this because it wipes it on a little bit better. So once I've got it on there, I'm just going to wipe over it with this cloth to kind of spread it and make it thinner, so then it looks like more of a wood grain. So with this brush you can control how much you want on here too, and with the wiping stain you can kind of push it in spots that are a little more bare. I just feel like I have more control with this brush and then going over it with. I always start from the end and wipe in one long stroke, especially when you've done the whole table. You want to go all the way across, otherwise it leaves funky blotchy little marks in there. And on the ends and for these grooves, I just go real quick in there and then quickly go over it, which you can kind of blend in here, and you can do with more stain obviously. So then you can always add more stain and go to the end there too. Now for the edges, I get a little bit on my brush and just like the same way I was doing it before, but I'm going in a different direction on this way, so you have to make sure to blend in quickly. The top is stained, so I'll just wait for it to dry. Now I want kind of a weathered look, so I didn't do a super heavy coat, but you could, I mean, if you want it cleaner looking, then you could do more stain on it to get it more uniform. This stain usually takes a day or two to dry, so once it's done, I'll assess whether I want to take a Scotch-Brite to it or maybe just a fine grit sandpaper to get rid of the sheen and smooth it out. But once it's dry, I'll put 3 coats of this Varathane polyurethane on top, and then once that's dry, we'll be good to use it. So now I'm going to do my second coat of chalk paint on the legs, and then also I'll let you know why I used a gel stain. How much prettier does that look already? I'm super excited. So Anyways, I used a gel stain because those can go over paint. They don't have to penetrate the wood, so it will go over paint and it'll actually dry. So that just keeps me from having to... I love distressed. I'm not a fan of bright whites. So the last step for me is this Valspar Antiquing Glaze to go over the chalk paint. All you do is get a damp rag and dip a little bit in there and then just wipe it on. The wet allows you to manipulate the glaze. And here she is, just about finished. So once that stain is completely dry, I have to apply my 3 coats of polyurethane and then I will be all done.